This offseason has shown me who's been a fan of the Detroit Lions since their whole life and who's been a Detroit Lions fan since they've had this turnaround under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. What do I mean by that? The fans that have been fans their whole life are supporting this Lions team. They're rocking with the DJ Reed signing. They're rocking with the Levi Onwuzurike signing. They're trusting in Brad Holmes. They know that they're going to be fine and they're still a legit team in this NFL. We were just hurt last year. And even me, going into the end of the season, we were 15-2. We're rolling in the playoffs, just got the 1 seed. We got home field advantage against the Washington Commanders. I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid and thinking we're going to make a Super Bowl run with 20 people on IR. Now we take a step back from it and you realize that's almost impossible to do. You have 15, 13 people on your defense on IR, first stringers, second stringers, and third stringers, and you're rolling out there with people that were barely making the practice squad on some of these other teams, and I'm thinking we're going to make it to the Super Bowl. Now you take a step back from it, you realize that's what happened. That was the reason the Detroit Lions didn't make their run. We didn't have any luck on our side last year. Aiden Hutchinson went down. Carlton Davis went down, Ali McNeil went down, Alex Anzalone went down. 4 of your stud defensive players went down in the middle of the season last year, and we're sitting here thinking that this Detroit Lions team is going to go make a run. We were just all drinking the Kool-Aid, and if you look back at it, last year, Philadelphia, they lost, or 2 years ago, they lost to Kansas City in the Super Bowl, and then last year, they got bounced in the first round against the Tampa Bay Bucks. The wheels were falling off of them. Everyone was falling. Fire Sirianni. Is Sirianni the right guy to get the Eagles over the hump? Are the Eagles really going to be all right next year? Is it going to be the Commanders? Is it going to be the Cowboys? That's all you were hearing all offseason last year because the Eagles got bounced in the first round. And then the Lions started rolling last year. And then we're rolling. And then you see the Eagles go on the 8-game winning streak. They're starting to get momentum and everyone's starting to hop back onto the bandwagon. That's what I'm really thinking with this Detroit Lions team. When you're on your way to chasing something, when you're getting to the Super Bowl, right? You want to get to the Super Bowl. Sometimes you got to fall to get to that ultimate prize. I think that's what's happening with this Detroit Lions team. And I see so much panic saying that the Lions didn't do enough this offseason. Lions aren't going to be anything. The Bears are leapfrogging them because they got Ben Johnson and they got all these guys that are... The Bears do this every offseason. They did it last year, and what did they do? Well, they went 4-12. They did it the year before that. And they spend so much money in free agency, and they never get them a result. Free agency doesn't win you championships. Drafting and free agencies, the moves you're making, the calculated moves to be able to resign your own players, to make a splash move when you need to make a splash move. Getting Myles Garrett is not going to win us a Super Bowl. Look what he's been on the Browns his whole career. What have the Browns done? Look at J.J. Watt when he was on the Houston Texans. He was the defensive player of the year every year. Did they go anywhere? No. Getting that key defensive player, yes, it's important to match someone on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. No one's undermining that over here. I'm not saying that we need another edge rusher, and I really do believe in Brad Holmes that he's going to go in the draft and maybe trade up and go get an edge rusher. They know what they're doing. This offseason has been solid so far, getting DJ Reed on a cheaper deal than you would have had to re-sign Carlton Davis for. That's a huge signing right there. Re-signing Levi Onwuzurike. They just signed Tim Patrick on the offensive side of the ball. They signed that Roy Hernandez, or Roy, whatever his name is, the defensive tackle from Arizona, and they signed that Colts linebacker to replace Jalen Reeves-Maven. So yeah, it hasn't been the splash signings that this Detroit Lions team has needed or that we thought that they needed, but Brad Holmes knows what he's doing, and I'm sick of hearing the panic from all these fans saying the season's over already in the middle of are we falling back to the same old lines where we're looking at free agency? Remember when we signed Trey Flowers? Remember when we signed all those guys and we're thinking, man, look at that great move that this Detroit Lions team made, and they got into the season and they were bust. Like, come on. Let's relax. We still got a really good roster. Our offense is still really good. And the people are hating on Jared Goff. He had one bad game in the divisional round. Yes, you want him to be good, but it's not his fault. The whole team, the offensive line wasn't protecting him. People were dropping the ball. We turned the ball over. The defense wasn't stopping anybody. It was just a bad game. And honestly, I think it was because Ben Johnson was on his way out, probably saying he's going to take the Bears job. And you got... the wheels were just kind of falling off at the end of the season last year. Not from being a contender, just the way the season was rolling, and I don't understand why, but I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to be a bad team next year. We still got a really good offense. Jared Goff, Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tim Patrick's coming back. You got Demo, Sonic, and Knuckles in the backfield. You got a really good offensive line, and they didn't sign a right guard. They didn't re-sign Zeitler. Mahogany played really solid last year, so I'm not really worried about the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball, is Aiden Hutchinson going to be as good as he was? Maybe. I think he was, because when he hurt his ankle at Michigan, he came back even stronger. That's how I really feel. And you can go back to my videos about the Detroit Lions. When Aiden Hutchinson got hurt, I really said he's going to come back and be stronger. I really have a belief in that. Aleem McNeil, we don't know what he's going to be like. It probably won't be as good, but we still have the opportunity to add or go trade for somebody. This offseason's not over. It's the first week of free agency, and you got people hitting the panic button like we're going to finish last in the NFC North, and it's driving me crazy. Have some faith. This really has shown me who's the fans from forever and who's been the fans from the last couple of seasons when the Lions started to be good. And that's Ryan Armani from Woodward Sports. That take he had the other day, that the Super Bowl window is closing because they didn't do what he wanted them to do, is ridiculous. I'm so sick of those type of fans saying that they know about this Detroit Lions team when they've only been fans the last couple of years. It's going to be funny when we're in the middle of November next year and we're rolling and people are hopping back onto the bandwagon. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But I've been really frustrated hearing all these takes from people saying the Detroit Lions aren't going to be good. They're not going to be this. They're not going to be that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.